Yemonja olodo, awalodo mio. 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 Yemonja asesu Yemonja, Yemonja asesu yami, Yemonja olodo Yemonja, Yemonja olodo Yemonja. Yemonja asesu yami. Yemonja asesu Yemonja. Yemonja olodo Yemonja. Yemonja olodo yami. Yemonja olodo yami. Yemonja olodo yami. Yemonja olodo yami. Yes. Welcome to the Ask Yeyefini Show. Usually I say meditate, but today we're just doing it in the flow. So thank you everyone for coming to joining us on the Ask Yeyefini Show. I am excited because we are going to do some magical things here with Dawn Bauer, who we've had before, and we have a surprise guest with you also with me today. So join in with us as we expand the understanding about Yemonja. So thank you, Dawn, for joining us. Thank you. And my lovely surprise guest.
Alafia. How is everybody? You know, I'm always honored to be with my Yalode. So honored to have her with me and to be with all of you. So major blessings to everyone. And Ekabo, welcome.
Yes. Welcome to the Ask Yeyefini Show for the month of July, where we are celebrating my mama, Yemonja. Yes, Yemonja. Yes, Yemonja. Today we're honoring, and I sang that chant, Yemonja, is where the river and the ocean meet, and that is the place where it's like home because all rivers run to the ocean. And Yemonja technically is a river goddess, but in the diaspora we honor her as the mother of the ocean and the sea, along with Oloku. So today I wanted to just do a special presentation of Yemonja because every July that's who we honor in the International Institute of African Studies and Knowledge under the sign of Cancer. And it's such a wonderful, auspicious occasion that we have, not only do we have a full moon on this date of the show, but we have a super moon and an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. So Yemonja is like open. We saw the moon with a big blue ring around her for the past 2 nights. So she's like, yes. So we consider the moon to be Yemonja's mirror. She reflects, that's where we can reflect for going back to mother. So we're going to speak today on the power of spirit, of course, but knowing that this is a time where, and if you can look back for the past maybe about a week in the growing of the moon, we've been facing a lot of emotional things. Emotional things are coming up to us and saying, okay, either you can decide that you're going to avoid them or ignore them, or you're going to just break down and cry. Because that's how Yemonja is, you know? Yemonja is the energy of the mama, is the divine mother. She's known in different forms in as Yemonja, Yemonja, Madre de Agua, Isis, Mami Wata, all of them recognizes that she is the divine mother. She is the mother of all of the Orisha. She's the mother that nurtures all of us. And so this is a time for us to really connect to that energy that we want to go home to mama. We want to go home to mama. And so mama can be your living mother, or if she's passed, it's always going to be your mother, but you have a universal energy that you can go to the ocean and tell her anything and everything, and she will just deal with it. Because that's what mothers do. They say, what did they do to you? Who hurt you? Let me go out here. You know, that's how mothers are. So during the month of July, every year I notice, and the past week I've been doing readings for people who I've had to stop and just say, breathe. And a couple of them I had to chant for them to actually go into knowing that you're okay, you're safe, you're safe. And so the Divine Mother Yemonja speaks on this time in our life, the way with the universal time out. We're going through all types of emotions. So this full moon, as well as the month of July, is giving us an opportunity to tap into it, to know that it's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay for you to tap into Big Mama. And so I wrote this so that I wouldn't forget and I can stay on point, because I'll be all over the place. And so in our lives, Yemonja governs the embryonic fluids in our body, because she holds us for 9 months. And in that 9 months, we are connecting to all of the emotions of our mother. Every emotion that your mother has been through, is going through when she carried you. And Yemonja is the one that remembers that. And you can always come to her in ceremony and creating a sacred space. So before we go into this, I want you to know that there's a place that you could set in your own home, where you set up a blue cloth, a white cloth, put a bowl of water. You can get some little blue shells or seeds, or get river stones or seashells, to create that place that you can meditate during this time and recall some of the things that you perhaps have on your spirit that you would want to heal from. So Yemonja holding us in owning that fluid that kept us for 9 months. When we come out, she also is the one that governs the aspects of our life for the first 7 years of our life. And so that's why when you're a child, you have the same accent as your parents, the same mannerism, because you're listening. You listen to her when you were in a room, so you know her voice. When she comes out, you know her smell. And then for 7 years, she's your primary example of who you are. And so you start listening to her and you start talking like her, and your accent is the same. Like myself, I have the same accent as my mother because I lived with her for the first 7 years. And that's why it's so easy for you to learn new languages the first 7 years, because that part of your being, the aspect of Yemonja, is so open, because she is still there developing you. You're still developing from beyond the womb. So that's why it's such an important time. And so that's why I wanted to have Dawn, you on the show today, for us to tap in. And when you come on, you will be able to show us how to go back and to tap into that memory, and how to use some of the tools that you will share with us today, to know that the things that we've experienced, and we can use them or decide not to use them. So those 7 years are so important for us. And so a lot of the things that we may be going through right now and throughout our lives, most of the things that we go through happen to us during, or we remember them, those first 7 years. So if you've had any type of really nurturing and loving and showing you how to love, you are always going to be able to find love and to give love, because that's your base. And so on the contrary, if you've been experienced any kind of trauma, and today's world is so harsh, because we don't have the community as we did in ancient times that we always had. If daddy wasn't there, we had other uncles. If mommy wasn't there, we had other aunts. So we're living in a world sometimes that if we find the imbalance in our homes where fathers are leaving, our mothers have to be out of the home for long periods of time. So you have that part of you that is, it's not imbalanced. It is your reality, is your base. And so coming from that, during this Yemonja cycle of this month of July, a lot of that stuff is going to come up. A lot of opportunity for you to love deeply, or for you to address the fact that I need to love me, or I need to go to Yemonja, or I need to forgive. Any of the things that will allow you to go into that space of those 7 years. But most of the trauma or the blessing or the ease that we've had, our memory remembers it and decides. So with it coming up now, this is the time for us to really tap into. And so with Yemonja, the mother of the color blue, all shades of blue, she is the blue sky that watches over us. She is the blue waters that nurture us. And as I said earlier, all rivers run to Mama. And so every emotion that you have, it goes back to, I need my mom. I need my mom. If you're male or female, you always want to go back to that milk, that nurturing, those eyes, the things that gave you that. So depending on your cultural beliefs, you can detach from it and just connect to it on Mother's Day, but throughout the year. But trust me, this month of July, under the sign of Cancer, it's going to come up. It's going to come up because that's just the way that the cycle of the moon and life goes. So the energy that we honor today is for us to give attention for going back before we were born. We are given this gift of going back to our mother, our womb. And so Yemonja's cycle is just like the 7 rivers. That's her cycle, is for us to go back and give us this opportunity to go back and sit with your divine mother and talk to her, complain to her, or thank her, whichever it is. But it's an active place that if you don't act on it, then you will lose the opportunity for another year when you have, the Yemonja cycle again come up in July. And the rhythm that we have, if you lose that, it's like, when you're asking for something and you say, well, I give up. And then you went out somewhere and the thing came to your house and you weren't there to get it. And you're like, oh my gosh, you should have stayed home. So this is an opportunity for you to use it during this lunar eclipse, to just go back into us, into the mirror, to introspect, to connect, to face the things that we may be dragging, or the things which we can renew our trust and the power that we chose to be here. We chose the mothers that we came through. We chose the mothers that we came through so that we can know how to mother, how to nurture others. Even if you never have a child, you always have the ability to know how to nurture, how to go in, how to introspect, how to care. And so Yemonja's daughters and sons that we see on earth, that's her temple. Midwives, doulas, teachers, media specialists, doctors, psychologists, those energies that we find that in our lives, we can always look back at one of them to thank. If it's a nurse, is there an auntie? It is a teacher. Is it someone that made you feel, oh, I could do this. Oh, this is nice. That's Yemonja. Yemonja is not necessarily in the river or the ocean. She's in all of her children who, that is how they manifest. That's how they become, they represent the body of her. So all of the people that we call on to nurture, all of them, and that's the energy of Yemonja. So this is the time for us to look back and thank those people by being grateful, positive or negative. They were able to influence you and work through it during this time. They influence who you are. So Yemonja is not only in the ocean or in the moon, she is her children who they take on. Like teachers don't choose a profession to teach. Teachers are born. They're born because you just have that innate ability. Like nurses are born to do what it is. Doulas, midwives, No one says, okay, you're going to be a midwife. I'm sorry. And you show up just to be a midwife. No, you have to have a connection to, oh, I want to do this. I want to welcome this baby. I want to nurture the mother. I want to help her for her to feel relaxed. That's a profession that is a divine expression of your religion. So this is the time for us to thank those aspects. Thank her daughters that and her sons that have given you that ability to do it. And so in remembering that we chose to come back on earth, all of the people that we met are part of our of our divine path. All of them. Isn't that awesome that we choose to come back here and to be part of this new pioneer spirit of reinventing the new normal and creating this new normal when we come out of this um, universal time of this quote unquote pandemic. So I have some of the things that we would suggest and recommend for you during this time to connect to Yemonja, and which is of course to make her shrine, make up a little altar. Make a list. Number 2, make a list of 7 things every day that you're grateful for that have influenced you to be who you are. Because gratitude opens the road for you to connect to a new possibility and potentiality. Make a bath. Number 3, make a bath with fern. I made some for the past 3 days. It's been really joyous. It's been wonderful. You just get the fern that you have. It's been made with fern, lettuce, mint leaf, and you can drop some lavender oil. But this is lavender season, so if you walk through your neighborhood, you can find lavender. And if you're like me, you're always picking people's flowers, you can always find some lavender saying, hello, pick me, pick me. I think the flowers speak to me, and I just must answer their call. And so you're going to do, and then you can, if you have access to the sea, you can get some seawater and you can add it to the bucket of water that you're going to chant and pray over. And you can bathe your children, yourself, clean your home with the lavender, fern, lettuce, mint leaves, and just cleanse your body. Also, you can do a meditation at sunrise and at sunset to Yemonja. I have a meditation CD on Yeyefini.com that I encourage you to use, as well as Dr. Funlayo has one, and she'll speak on that. That you could just sit there and just meditate and go back into your room. Also, you can sit along with the sacred shrine that you have. A ritual that I've done over the years, and I've mentioned it before, is if you have a disconnection with your mom for whatever reason, you can, and I gave this during the Mother's Day celebration, is to do a meditation for 21 days. The first time that when you start out the first day, you're going to see your mother as your child. And then the next day, you're going to be her child. And the next day, again, and you just keep repeating that with the meditation. It brings such a connection that anything that you've had with whatever reason you may be disconnected for whatever, physically, emotionally. Sometimes we have separations from our parents because our path and the things we chose to come back do not align with them at the time that we want them to align. And that's a very powerful ritual. Another ritual that have helped me is if you have a disconnect with one of your children or your grandchildren, or that you would sit at the seat at the edge and you sit with your legs open and you put the child in between your legs and you allow that water to just wash you. And it's like going back into the room. It's such a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. If you could do it at night, it's beautiful. If you want to do it in the daytime, it's beautiful if you have the privacy to do that. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you for this time with seeing Yemonja and knowing that whatever is going on in your life, you can find the connection to mother. The connection to mother. In my class that I teach on second Sundays with my Egbe, that's when I will go into and I may share it on here. I will put it in the chat or either on in the messages on how the different roads of Yemonja and how she affects us. And if you're a priest and you have that road, you know how you connect. You're like, oh my God, yeah, I got a wound there. I'm a warrior. You know, I'm a sister. I'm always trying to find somebody to nurture. And so I'm going to share that with you, but not on this right now. So I just want to just welcome Dr. Funlayo to be on my show because we happen to be Yemonja brought us under this sacred moon to be together in celebrating her 12th Orisha celebration. So it was just so magnificent. It was a week yesterday. And so we're still in the glow. We're still in the glow. So thank you and share something with Yemonja.
Oh, yes, of course. First of all, it's always an honor to get to spend time with you, with your ashe, with your wisdom. And I just wanted to offer, what's on my heart as far as Yemonja is remembering that one big message from Yemonja is the message that the universe is abundant.
Yes.
Yemonja breaks down, my Yoruba students know, right? Yoruba words are often conglomerations of multiple words. So her name is Yemonja, the one whose children are fish. And the implication of that is not only about the fact that we are actually fish, right? When we first conceived, because we are in this water, our first breath is through water, right? Our first oxygen is received and everything, we're in that state. But also thinking about the abundance of fish. No one knows how many fish there are in the sea. When you see a school of fish, they are always abundant. And so that is the energy of Yemonja. They say that her breasts are large enough to feed all the children in the world, that her buttocks are big enough that she can put all the children in the world on her back. And so as we continue through this full moon energy, as we continue through the month of July, I encourage us to really tap in internally to that energy of abundance, to remember that no matter what is going on with our earthly parents, no matter what is going on with our earthly mothers, some of us did not have mothers who were nurturing. I was blessed to have my mother who was very nurturing. I see her watching. But not all of us had that experience. So to remember that one of the beauties of the Orisha tradition and of African culture is, as Yeye said, there are always multiple mothers and fathers for us to tap into. And Yemonja is that universal mother that we can lean on and know that we can always be nurtured no matter what the earthly situation is. And so I just want to offer that as something to take as we continue through the month.
Ashe, thank you so much. I love the Dr. Funlayo has to break it down like yes, I love it. That's why I wanted to just surprise everyone by having her on the show because you always bring such rich cultural and academic and linguistic necessity that we have, the discipline that you had, the blessing that you had to go to Harvard and to have that ability to know to use it, bring it back to the community. That is such an honor. That is such a blessing because most of the time when we're thinking in terms of representing different spiritual practices, whenever spiritual practices or callers says we're going to have a spiritual praying or a spiritual expression of people coming together, we don't have people of traditional Yoruba or African spiritual practices. So that's what I just love about you, that you represent it, you bring it, you know it, the discipline that you have to study, but also to bring it from such a loving, wonderful place. Because sometimes when we are disconnected with our purpose and we are teachers or we are asked to represent a community and we forget that we are just tools being used by the divine, we sometimes show up with the ego as the first thing. And I have done this and I will do this and we're together here to pray. We don't need women present to pray because we own it. You have created a table where others can come from all faiths and to sit and to see and to expound on the brilliance of the Yoruba people, of the Ifa tradition, to know that all traditions, whether it's Lukumi, Condomble, Vodun. It's all the root is Ifa. And so to have that knowledge and to have your PhD in philosophy and African studies and African studies, that's no small thing. That's no small thing. So when you were born and the creator, Oludumare, said, I need someone to go down or to go over there, whichever we want to believe that the spiritual realm is. Olodumare said, I want to make myself manifest in flesh. And so I'm going to create human beings. And that's one of the things that I was speaking of in another show about Yemonja, is that in the beginning, Yemonja has always been here. There's always been water. Because if we know in the stories about how the world began, there was water here. Yemonja was already here. And when Obatala came in the male form to bring the earth, that to me looks like sex. Holla. Sperm meeting, egg, and creating. And creating. So she's always been here. You know, she's always been here. So women, this is the time for women. I have a little note that I made to myself here. Where is it? It says, I don't know where to put it, but anyway, it's about the power of women and showing up as the power of us always being here first, always being the nurturer, because after human being became formed, we had to be nurtured. We had to be nursed. We had to be, mothers had to cook. Mothers had to prepare. Mothers had to learn how to cross-pollinate certain foods and to create food. Mothers had to learn how to weave and take the cotton plant, which is sacred to Obatala, to weave that cloth into clothing. So women are the base. So this, for me, to have you doing that before Olodumare manifested and said, I want to be human, he said, I want someone to come named Funlayo and is going to put the concept of male dominance in spiritual practice. We're going to shake it up. We're going to shake it up. We're going to send a female that has the credentials, that has the ability, and has the heart and the brilliance to go and to study wherever it is that your path took you to. It just happens to be Harvard, but where your path took you, it was Olodumare sending you on earth. So you are blessed. And you continue to be blessed because you represent women coming, nurturing, loving, and the spirit that you share at your university. That has brought African spiritual practices to the forefront in such a way, in an academic way, in a powerful way, brilliant way, so that all of us can now see. So,
oh, I want you now. And that's for me, that's the essence of Yemonja, is the idea that there is enough for all of us.
Yes.
There's enough love, there's enough energy, there's enough fun, there's enough joy, there's enough laughter. It only multiplies when we share it. Just like a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting other candles. We don't lose anything by spreading joy and love. In fact, we gain and everybody gains. So I'm always blessed for that. Thank you. And just, again, to remember this idea of abundance, because a lot of the issues that we have is because we become frightened. We get frightened by the idea of scarcity. We feel like if, there's not enough, there's not enough of something. There's not enough food, there's not enough love, there's not enough money. So we have to scramble and fight each other for it. And so this is also why I'm so excited for us to be working with Dawn and all that she offers as far as working with neuro-linguistic programming, really working to get ourselves out of these patterns. Because listen, one thing that I love about you that you stress is that this work that we do, it's magic, but it's not magic. And here's what I mean by that. It's magical, right? It has the spiritual aspects. It has, all of that power, but it's not magic in the sense that it doesn't work on its own. We still have to do the work. We still have to go deep within. We still have to discuss and dislodge those things that are inside us, and some of those things that we don't even realize are there. And so that is the power of this work that our sister Dawn is doing with neuro-linguistic programming, really helping people to go inside, to do that work after the prayer and the meditation and the rituals, then continuing going deep within to dislodge those things that may be there that we may not realize, and being able to go back and to really truly heal, to really truly let go, to really truly reprogram ourselves. Right?
Yes.
This process, as we talked about on the last show, that we have to continually reinitiate ourselves. And so doing this work and going deep within to really affect change is a part of that reinitiation. So it's a joy to share space too with you, Dawn.
Yes. And you know me, I love to big up women. We have to big each other up. We have to always. Because the male-dominated culture, big up men, The women now, we got to do and recognize each other. And that's why my sister from another mother, Dawn, is my sister from another mother, just, as Dr. Funlayo said, it's an opportunity for us to look back and to go back and just know that it's enough and we are okay. And Yemonja is here. So this is your next half an hour for you to do your magical work by us connecting to the magic that already exists within us. So thank you. And we can speak and interact now. So whichever you want to do, it is yours now. My sister from another mother.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you both. I'm glad we've got Dr. Funlayo on here again too. I love what both of you are doing. I've seen both of your visions and holding your visions as my own as well. And I'm just so excited. If you're watching this and you have not been following these ladies for very long, keep following them, because there's some amazing things that's coming along in the future with these two. And it's just going to be powerful. I feel it. Just amazing. It's just good to be a part of it. I'm so grateful to be here. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about NLP for those that weren't on that last show, just to make sure people kind of understand where we're at. But before that, I want to talk about being a Cancer myself. So I just had a birthday yesterday. My sister.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Oh, that's my favorite version.
Of course.
When I was in middle school, the school I went to for middle school was a science magnet school. It was Martin Luther King Junior High. And that was what we sang for happy birthday. But anyway, so yeah, I'm a Cancer. My sister's birthday is June 30th. So she's just 4 days before mine. My mom's is June 27th. So we're all within 1 week. And both of my mom's parents, my grandmother and my grandfather, were both July 2nd. So on my maternal side, we have a lot of Cancers. A lot of emotion. So all this stuff you're talking about with mother is just like tenfold, I feel like, in my existence, and has been my whole life, to have, all of these emotions coming up, and not just in July. For me, being a Cancer, it's very much, woven into my life. So I'm so excited to be doing this show today, because just the mothering and the nurturing is so important. And so a little bit about NLP. Dr. Funlayo talked a little bit about that, how we can go back and break some of these old patterns that we have. And so one thing that I want you guys to know, so we're going to go through a process, and one thing I want you to understand is that the unconscious mind remembers everything that has ever happened to you in your entire life. So since you were starting to become conscious, everything you experienced, heard, smelled, tasted, felt, touched, all of those experiences, the unconscious mind remembers everything. The conscious mind only remembers 3%. And that seems like such a tiny amount, but if at any given moment, like if we just give this moment right now, if we remembered everything that ever happened in our entire life right now in this moment, we wouldn't be able to function and move forward in life. We would be too overwhelmed. So what happens is when we're gathering in that information, our brain is automatically, our unconscious mind is automatically filtering it. It's deleting things, it's distorting things, and it's choosing what to remember based on any values and beliefs that we already have, previous programming, and all of that stuff, other perceptions that we have. So that could have been handed down to us hereditarily. It could have been handed down through our ancestors. We don't even know, where it came from. Some of those beliefs and things that are lodged in our unconscious mind. And many of those, as Yeyefini was talking about, in those first few years of our life, those are really impressionable years, and things that happened there, we created this belief, which then created a pattern. So perhaps something traumatic happened to us, and when I say traumatic, that can be something that we might look at now and be like, that was such a tiny little thing. Why was that so traumatic? But it was when we were a kid, because we didn't have the resources to really handle that specific thing. And when I say traumatic, it could be something really, really awful that we would say, oh, yeah, that was a horrible, horrible thing that happened to me. So it doesn't matter if it was tiny or big or whatever. It's a thing that happened, and we create a belief around there, and then our ego, right, wants to protect us. It wants to keep us safe. It doesn't want that to happen again, because it brought up all these negative emotions, right? It brought up maybe fear, maybe anxiety. And so what it's doing as we're moving forward in our life, and where you might see this pop up if you're an entrepreneur and trying to create something, or you want a man or a woman in your life, or you want certain things and you're hitting these roadblocks, or you feel like you keep self-sabotaging. A lot of times that's what's happening, is that ego is coming in and going, wait, no, this is scary territory, don't do that. And it's protecting you, but it doesn't realize that you don't maybe need that anymore, that it's that protection that was originally put in place back when you were younger, and sometimes, again, even maybe before you were born, you don't need that anymore, and you can release that so that you can move forward and you can break that pattern. But it's easier said than done, because we're not conscious of what those things are. So when we can go back in the unconscious mind and locate those patterns and those beliefs and look at them and become aware of them, and then say, is this still serving me, or do I need to shift this? Because if it's still serving you, great, keep it. We don't need to clear that out. But if it's something that is not serving you, is not helping you move forward in a positive direction, or there are negative emotions attached to it still, then let's remove those negative emotions and instead put in some more resourceful, powerful attributes into that event. So then it becomes a thing that happened. It's a thing that happened. We're not attaching the word traumatic to it anymore. We're not attaching fear to it anymore. We're not attaching sadness and doubt and worry and anxiety and grief and whatever else. We're not attaching those things. Instead, it's a thing that happened. We decided to make that mean a certain thing, but we decided now it's not going to mean that anymore. It's going to mean something else that's going to be powerful moving forward. So as I walk you through this process that I'm going to walk you through, it's going to be a closed eye process. And so we can't see you, so you can close your eyes. I'm just going to, I invite you to really participate in this. I invite you to just close your eyes and listen to my voice, make sure that you can hear me. And just allow yourself to go on this journey. So once we get into it, and I'll explain to you what I'm going to do first, and then we'll go into it, allow your unconscious mind to take you wherever it's going to take you. Allow your unconscious mind to bring up whatever it's bringing up. You may, if this is something that's new for you, you may think you let your conscious mind, your logical mind try to get in there and like, oh no, I'm thinking, I'm imagining, I'm making things up in here. Maybe you are, but you could make up anything. So whatever you are making up, that's what your higher consciousness wants you to be making up in that. So just trust that that's what's being revealed to you, because there's millions and billions of things that you could be making up. So if that's what you're creating, go with it. Go with that first thing that's naturally coming up. And I think, I think that's pretty much it as far as just understanding to just allow yourself to go through this process. So with this process, what we're going to do is first I'll kind of get you into a relaxed place. And then I'm going to have you just imagine that you're floating up above now on your timeline. If you can imagine your timeline, you've got a past and a future, wherever that is for you. And you're going to look towards the past and just notice dots above your timeline that are representing times in your life where you perhaps wanted or needed some mothering or nurturing. You would have preferred some more mothering and nurturing in those times in your life. And just notice those dots. And we're going to go all the way back. I'm going to take you all the way back to the day that you were born. And the reason I'm telling you this about ahead of time is because I just want to prepare you. I'm not sure which one of you ladies was saying, not I think it was Dr. Funlayo. Not everybody's mother who gave birth to them, right, kept them. Maybe you were given up for adoption. Maybe you never met your mother. Again, allow your unconscious mind to reveal to you whatever that looks like. But we are going back to the day that you were born, your birth mother, that day that you were born. And once we get there, we're going to have some different experiences where you are the observer, observing your mother holding you for the first time. Even if someone told you in your life, oh, your mother never held you. Release that information, okay? We're going to get into that where you're observing your mother holding you. You are going to be in the position of you as a baby and noticing the experience there. You're going to be in the position and drop into your mother's perspective. And we're going to notice what we notice from that perspective. And then you're going to come back into that observer perspective as the higher version of yourself, coming back in. And when we go back into that perspective, I'm going to ask for you to pull in any experiences, whether it was from your own mother or aunts, grandmothers, teachers, even anybody who you felt like, or maybe it's even people who are celebrities who you see as mothering. So I want you to pull in all these attributes from any kind of experience you've had with a nurturing presence, mothering presence, and you're going to pull those in and take those on as your own. And then I'm going to have you hold yourself as a baby. And we're going to have a dialogue there. You're going to communicate some things to yourself as a baby. And I'll walk you through all of this. So just kind of preparing you. And then as you come back to now, once we're finished in that exercise, you are going to imagine that you have a vacuum cleaner and you're going to suck up all of those dots all the way back to now that were representing those times when you needed mothering, and instead just let those, any negative emotions that were there, and just know that now you've got this mothering in all of those things, this nurturing in all of those events all the way back to now. And then we'll walk into the future and just observing what your life looks like now after releasing that and being your own mother, your own nurturer, taking care of yourself. Because fortunately or unfortunately, I say unfortunately because a lot of times it's easier if we can have somebody else do these things for us. But fortunately, you get to choose. Fortunately. So it's not in anybody else's hands. It gets to be in your hands, and you get to now step in and be that nurturing and mothering presence for yourself so that you can move forward, and you're not relying on anybody else, and you're not blaming, and you're not having any kind of negative thoughts or I wish my life would have been like this. I wish I would have been treated like this. I wish this. You get to now treat yourself like that. And we're going to change that past if it needs to be changed. And maybe you had just a wonderful, and you were mothered and nurtured that whole time. And this is still going to be a beautiful experience for you because you get to go back and relive that and remember all of that mothering and nurturing that you have, and continue to maybe even in that case too, you've always relied on somebody else because you've had this mothering and nurturing your whole life and you haven't quite figured out how to do it for yourself. And you can gather some information and awareness there for now, how can I be that for me? How can I be that for me? Ladies, do you feel like there's any questions that you have before I jump into this?
Oh, this sounds amazing.
That's why that's the Yeyefini Show is showing up.
Yes, and to really have the experience, just I'd like to echo the invitation for everyone to really allow themselves to go within, because many times it's fear of what we'll find that keeps us from going within. And the deeper we go, the more we are able to reveal. So we appreciate you.
And
Yeah.
trust. That's the thing, is trust. You have to trust something. And so it's not by coincidence that you're listening to this show. It's not by coincidence that I chose to do this. It's not me choosing. God chose through me. So trust this process. Trust that the moon tonight will shine down on you with a new understanding of who you are. And you can look up at the moon with a new understanding. So trust. Trust is so important for us to go through a process. So I'm just honored and grateful for it to happen under Yemonja in a super moon eclipse. Eclipse means to change. Awesome. Humbling experience. So,
and this can be very, very powerful. And you might notice some emotion coming up. You might notice some tears coming up, and that is totally normal. I'll just tell you that. And it's a normal, and especially, we were just talking about emotion in this time too. So just allow those to come up. When those come up, that means something's shifting. So that's good. When we see those emotions coming up, that means something is shifting in you, something's being released. So just trust that. And all right, here we go. I will see you guys on the other side, guys and gals. So I just invite you to close your eyes and just get yourself in a nice, comfortable position that you can remain in for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. And just start to take some nice, deep breaths. The first few breaths, maybe breathing in through the nose, fully filling your belly, your lungs, all the way up into that third eye space. Holding for a moment before exhaling completely through your mouth, pushing all the air out, using your belly muscles, pushing all the way out. And continuing to take nice deep breaths in through the nose. And exhaling out through the mouth. And just noticing as you breathe in and out, your muscles are relaxing, melting. Just notice too how, as you focus on that breath, focus on your muscles relaxing. the thoughts are drifting away. Any thought that comes in, it just naturally floats away. With every exhale, those thoughts just blow further and further away from you as if they're expanding away. Just notice how gravity has you here, holding you safely and securely to the seat that you're on. And the seat is being held securely by the floor. Floor by the building or structure that it's in. The earth supporting all of that. Feeling that security and that safety right now. A big inhale in, breathing up through that top of your head, through that crown chakra, connecting to that higher consciousness. Higher consciousness that holds all wisdom, infinite resources, that will guide you, reveal to you exactly what you need to be revealed and known to you through this entire process. Just communicating with it now that you trust, that it knows what you need to see, what you need to hear, what you need to understand and feel. Go ahead and imagine that you're floating up above now on your timeline and looking toward the past. Just notice dots appearing above events on your timeline where you wish you would have had more mothering and nurturing in that time. Just notice these dots. They may be a certain color. There may be a lot of them, and there might not be very many. Just noticing where this mothering and nurturing showed up or did not show up. You start to float into the past, all the way to the day you were born. Once you arrive there, I want you to float down, let yourself drop into that event. Perhaps walking into the room where you were born. And standing as an observer, just noticing what you see here. Look around the room or the space where you were born, allowing whatever comes up in your mind to be true, to be real, to be perfect. Knowing whatever you do see here is perfect. Notice your mother. Notice the baby version of you in her arms. Just notice what you see here. Now notice what sounds you hear. Maybe you weren't aware at first. Allowing those sounds to heighten this picture. Now I want you to float into your mother's perspective. So you're hearing through her ears, feeling through her body, seeing through her eyes. Taking a deep breath into this perspective as you look down at your baby. Just notice what emotions are coming up for you. There are no wrong emotions. Whatever emotions are coming up are perfect. Just noticing. Noticing what thoughts are coming up as you look through your mother's perspective at this new baby. Notice what hopes, dreams, and desires she has for herself and for this baby. Allow those to come to your awareness. Notice what she wants to say to this baby. What does she want this baby to know? Go ahead and have her, in your own way, express that through this baby version of you. What does she love and appreciate about this baby? Are there any concerns that she has? Is there any forgiving that she needs to do for herself or for the baby? Allow her to do that. Allow her to be free of anything that has been holding her back. Once that feels complete, have her express her love one more time. And go ahead and float out of her perspective and into the perspective of that little baby version of you. So that you are now looking through that baby's eyes up at your mother, hearing through the baby's ears, feeling through that baby's body. Just allowing, from this perspective, you to feel an expression of love, understanding anything else that she just shared with you. Breathing in through those tiny nostrils, any hopes and dreams that she just shared. Just fully receiving this gift of life. out of billions of possibilities, one sperm made its way into that egg, and you are here now. You are not an accident. You are very much on purpose. You are a miracle. You are here now. You came here on purpose to do something. And you know what that is. So taking a deep breath in, float out of that baby's perspective and back into your future self, higher self perspective as the observer looking at these two. And ask your mother now if you might hold yourself. Go ahead and take yourself, that baby version of yourself, in your arms and hold yourself now. Bringing in all of the nurturing attributes that you remember from anyone else in your life throughout your life that's been nurturing and mothering to you, breathing all of those in, all of those ways of showing that motherly love, that divine mother love. And through that to that little baby version of you now. Maybe that means caressing his or her face. Maybe that means singing to it, walking to it. And go ahead and in your own way, let that baby know how much you appreciate her or him. Ask for its forgiveness for anything that you've done to hurt it throughout its life. Make a promise to it now to uphold its purpose and what it came here for. Make a promise to it now to always be nurturing and mothering to it. Bringing that baby into your heart space, that heart chakra, that divine mother chakra of emotion and love. Unify again with that baby version of yourself. You are one. And bringing your mother now also into that heart space. You are one with that mother, the divine mother. All versions of you are one. And just breathing into that. Float back up out of that event. Just observing from above, looking down into it, and notice how it's shifted. Love that remains there. There are no longer any negative emotions if there were before. It's all in that light of the Divine Mother. Now I want you to imagine that you have that vacuum cleaner. That vacuum that's going to suck up all of those other dots all the way back to now, removing any yearning for mothering and nurturing from all those other events, knowing that it was there all along because you were there nurturing and mothering yourself through all of those events, all the way back to now. Erasing any negative emotions and only leaving this beautiful love of the Divine Mother, your higher self, nurturing and mothering yourself throughout your life, all the way to now. And as you continue to journey into the future, walking into 6 months from now, a year from now, taking all of this with you, watching your life unfold as you continue to be that nurturing and mothering presence for yourself all the way through your life. When you're ready, come back to now and open your eye. I'm losing some of your sound. I don't know if that's just.
I said thank you so
Oh,
much.
okay.
You're still in a whisper.
You had us so relaxed with your relaxed voice.
I never want to start yelling right afterwards. I would give people a minute to come back in.
Come back out. Yeah.
And just take some deep breaths and just notice for everybody that participated here. Just notice in your body how you feel now. You know, especially in that heart space. Being, you know, imagining in the future what maybe you started to think about those things that were blocking you when I was talking earlier, and think about what does that look like now? Maybe it looks like the possibilities are endless for you. And I hope people make comments about this. I would love to hear your experiences. And reach out to me, please. And if you want me to share.
We will definitely go back into the comments and share the information, and also share with you any comments that come up, because I'm sure there will be some sharing and some deep feelings. Spirit is telling me to invite anybody who needs to reach out, because we know that this can be a deep experience. It's a deep experience to go back, and we pray that it was a deeply moving experience. It's the epitome, really, of that idea of reinitiating ourselves. Mm-hmm. Birth is the first initiation. So to be able to go back and to hold ourselves, to re-understand what it means to be nurtured, to re-understand what it means to be mothered by our own arms, by our own sense of that nurturing, is really, really special and powerful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If anybody had, you know, especially if anybody had any thing come up that was uncomfortable, that you feel like is still lingering, that you weren't able to process completely, please reach out. And know that there's support here from these two ladies and from myself as well.
So I want you to put.
Yes, and please let everybody know how they can get in touch. If you would like to have sessions like these, this is just they wanted to share a sampling because this is such a powerful process. Dawn does offer sessions like these in series, and especially if you felt a stirring and like this is something that could really be helpful to you, please tell them how they can get in touch with you.
The best way, and once we're off of here, I will type in the comments as well on Facebook so that you guys have this. But my website is www.mobilelighthouse, like a moving lighthouse, llc.com, mobilelighthousellc.com. And then you'll see a bunch of different places on there where you can click a button for a free 20-minute chat, and we can chat one-on-one, face-to-face. And I can tell you how that all works, and you can decide what you want to do. But yeah, it's a free chat, so please just come say hi. And even if you want to just say hi and share your experience, I'm cool with that too.
Take that moment to go into yourself and invest in yourself, the time more than anything to really understand that we can move these things. That's why these things are important, because oftentimes, as Dawn shared, we can feel stuck and really feel like there's no way past certain events or certain feelings that we've been holding, especially if we've been holding them so long. And so one of the things that the moon reminds us of is just as things empty, they fill, and just as they fill, they empty. So there's always this opportunity for renewal. There's always this opportunity to re-experience and to re-choose. I love that idea of choosing, because we choose. Funlayo, that's a part of our cultural understanding. We kneel down and we choose the Ori. We choose the destiny that we live on earth. And sometimes some parts of it are tough, and we say, why would I choose that? Is in order to help us become who we are, not for us to get stuck in those places. And so we're just grateful for these opportunities to be able to process and move past.
And don't think that oh, well, I've been holding this thing my whole life and I'm in my 70s and I can't change, because you can.
How old you are.
How old you are.
Yemonja is always older. The Mother Earth, the Earth herself changes. And how ancient is she? So we can always change.
And every month, as the cycle comes, we change and we grow, and we have a different perspective of life. So this month we're having a perspective and a perception of, okay, so all of the things that have influenced my life need to be handled, and with this tool. And it will change. And as you say, the moon is going to empty and she'll start again. And we have a different perspective on it. So August is going to come in and we have a different perspective of our life. So just as it changes, we are allowed to change in its infinity, is that it always is going to change. So you can be 70, as you say, and still change and grow and learn something and address those things. Can you imagine if some of the things that you hold on at your age, if you're 70 and you cannot address the fact that you have a choice? You leave this earth just feeling frustrated and confused and angry and all of the other stuff. So this is an opportunity to know that you are evolving. You're always, it's not a destination. It's always a process. And if your process is at 70, that's your process.
Yep.
You know, it continues until the day you say, I'm out, you know, whichever way you decide to go. But yeah, so this is just being amazing and wonderful. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to share this practice, because it's something that we need as human beings right now, to know that we're not victims, and that the life that the reality that we're creating out of this universal timeout can be that we bring some of the nurturing from our lives that we want. It can be about rediscovering that you can love yourself unconditionally, you know, and rediscovering that all the things you thought or that was told to you about your mother, that is not the whole picture.
That was somebody else's perspective. We talk a lot in NLP about respecting other people's model of the world. We all have our own model of the world, like I said, with these beliefs and perspectives and everything. And so that could have been somebody else's perspective that they were projecting onto your mother if they were telling you a certain story, which is not the truth at all. The truth is always somewhere in there. So if we're going to tell stories, this is what I like to say. If you're going to tell a story anyway, because you don't know what really went on, you might as well tell a story or create a story that's going to help you move forward in your life.
Yes, like that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Yes, definitely. Yes.
And I love that you brought up that point too about not worrying or feeling about if you're making things up, or because people, that often comes in spiritual practice too. We get these questions often. Well, how do I know if it's really spirit or if I'm making it up, or if this is, look, whether, even if you feel that somehow you're making it up, if you're making up that thing out of all the infinite possibilities, then there's some divine inspiration.
That's
there.
right. That's it.
So I love that point as well.
If your tent in your vision was blue, it could have been a million different colors. Why was it blue? I don't know. It's blue. That's what it's supposed to be. Now we get to create those meanings, and it is so hard. It's just, but it is that trust, like you said, it's just trusting that this, whyever I am, even dreams. Why am I having this specific dream? Why did this person show up in my dream, or why did that happen? It just did. It just did. And what do you want to learn from that? What do you want to make that mean?
Sure, but definitely.
This has been so beautiful.
Yes, everyone that's listening, reach out to Dawn, and her practice is awesome. So tell us anything coming up for you, Dawn, and for me coming up in the next.
Well, I do want to share too that I'm going to be bringing on some other coaches here soon. So hopefully within the next week or so, bringing on some new coaches. So I will probably be doing some specials just to kind of celebrate these new people coming in and getting them some clients. So
we love collaboration.
We love collaboration.
That's wonderful. Congrats on your expansion.
Yes.
Yeah, I want help. I want to reach as many people as I can. And this is one way to do it, being able to be on shows like this. And I just, not too many people understand what NLP is and how powerful and how quickly we can change. And, some people that have been in regular talk therapy for 5 years, they'd be like, I've been working on this forever. And we just changed it, so it can be very quick. And I'm only one person. I only have so many hours in a week to be able to work with people. So I'm really, really excited to bring on some other coaches who already have, their own, they've been coaching on their own, but we're going to collaborate now, and they have the same training and certification that I do. And so I'm very excited to be bringing these people on, and I'm going to have
awesome.
A male too. So if you prefer, one of them is a male.
So brothers understand. Yeah, we definitely, I'm glad you said that, so that we know this is not just for women, right? We have a lot of people say, brothers reach out and say, oh, is it okay? Because it seems like it's just for women. No, of course, we're women, so we connect a lot with women, but these practices are not only for women. In fact, please, men, we need you to do it as well, so that we can heal together, and so that we can have better relationships and better families and better communities. The family is the first base, and so if it can't be one-sided. So know that you're fully invited, warmly invited, and welcome to participate in these processes.
My coach was a male. If people know Tony Robbins, does NLP stuff. And I, if you're a male and you want to work with a female coach, great. I just know that sometimes people feel more comfortable with someone their same sex. So if you are a male and you're considering doing this and you think it's just female coaches, I do have a male coach coming on that has lots of space for new clients.
Nice, nice. I'm glad you said that. That is awesome because in this male-dominated culture, sometimes men can't find a safe place and they feel safe enough to really connect to some of the emotions without just suck it up. You know, so this for me, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And so those of you, she offered a 20-minute, what is it? Free it before she gets so busy that she'll be like, well, I'm sorry. And she is the best. Because we have to bring the best.
We don't mess around with,
So we have to bring the best. So she is the best. So go ahead and take advantage of that. Talk to her and see how she can help you and help friends. I'm always sharing with others what, the gift that I've received from you and to others. And it's just been like just a whirlwind of things of people being helped. Because that's what this is about. It's about not getting to a destination. It's a process.
Totally.
Reinitiating yourself and knowing that you can have elders to sit at someone's feet or have someone, you're your own guru, but you may have someone to give you the tools necessary so to take it along with you.
We all need coaches. I still get coaching too,
Yes.
We all need coaching times. And so there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a coach that like you're probably just enlightening your experience here even more by having several different coaches that do different.
Absolutely. And especially from our cultural perspective, one is never without coaches because you always have your spiritual elders and they are the people who you are to turn to, not to do it for you,
right?
Not to do it for you. I'm going to say it one third time, not to do it for you, but to help guide you towards the things and the ways and the means. And then it's ultimately up to each of us to use the medicine. And so thank you again, Dawn. Thank you, Yalode. For me, you can always connect with me at asheirave.com. And related to what we have spoken about today, I invite you to check out my new guided meditation album to help you go within and go on some of these journeys as well. There's a wonderful track for Olokun dedicated to the depths of the ocean and going in and coming out new. And so just this whole idea of being able to change and transform, that's one of the energies that's there. Of course, there's one for Obatala, if our side. We can't have anything without Obatala. It starts off with Eshu, and so it's a beautiful journey. asheirave.com. Click the album cover, and please enjoy any of the rest of the medicine you find there. Join Yalode and I on Wednesdays for the midweek recharge. Charge it up and just use this medicine. Pray with us, meditate with us, meditate by yourself in community. It's some work we do alone, some work we do in community, and we continue doing the work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and for me, it's just making sure that that we empower the people to empower themselves. And use this empowerment to change the world. That's the motto of Yeyefini.com. So just find a place for me. You can find me at Yeyefini.com for my Teaching Tuesdays and all of the other work that I do. I have a whole new series of classes beginning in October. What I'm excited about is the classes that we have on tweens, because we've had the children's rites of passage for many years, and now we have a tweens rites of passage, because we've seen that there are many children that are not quite teens yet, but they're still having some challenges. And every 7 years, you change your perspective and your perception in your different phase. So those children that are just in between, that 14, I'm excited about that, the tweens. And we have a lot of other things. So just go to Yeyefini.com to sign up for the upcoming classes. And know that if you're interested in consultations and that, just go to my website and just support the work that all of us are doing, and just telling other people that we exist. And one of the things that I love is on Sundays when we have that it's almost like church where you come to on Sundays and we get together and we pray, and there's a little ministry that goes on. I love that. I love that, because a lot of times we're feeling like, oh, we're out here by ourselves. and we don't have anyone, come to community. Community is where you see yourself in a different form. A community is where you feel safe enough to say to someone what's going on. They may not know what it is, but they know someone else. So I love collaboration. I love community. And that's why every time that I'm doing anything, I always say, if I know it, I'm going to share it.
Sure, we love
That's
it.
just me. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you,
Thank
Don.
you.
Happy birthday again. Funlayo, thank you to smile and to be just the wonderful glow that you are. And me, just keep on praying for me.
Yes, thank you. We always pray for you. We lift you up. We pray for many, many more years, many more shows, many more lessons, and so much more wisdom.
I share. So see you next month on the Ask Yeyefini Show, the first Sunday of every month.
Take care.
Take care.